So this is Operation Take Back Your Life in 10 minutes or less. And I'm here with Dr. Kristen Kells. I know you have done this, which is probably the hardest thing for most people to do, which is wake up one day and go, my life's off the rails, my schedule's off the rails, I can't seem to do the things that I want to do with my health. How am I going to get my body back again? You've actually done it. You've lost 70 pounds, kept it off, and really transformed your life. So I want you to give the people watching your best stuff that they can start doing right away.
Well, let's start with this, because this was me 13 years ago. Right now, I'm going to bring it up and see if you can focus in on it. And you can look at that. This was me 13 years ago. I was 33 years old. I had just had my last child. I have 3 kids. I had just had my last child. I was almost 200 pounds. You know, you always think you're going to lose the baby weight, and of course I didn't. I thought I would be, 40 pounds down the day I had him. And I walked out of the hospital, and several months later, my weight is still high. I'm exhausted, stressed out, burned out. I have no idea where I'm headed, and I had an epiphany. I had a moment. And really what happened to me, I was actually staying at my parents' house, and I looked in on my kids, and something happened inside of my soul where I realized if I didn't change, I would teach them to do exactly the same thing. Because I came from a legacy of, disregarding your health, ignoring it. I came from a long line of obesity, and I was obese. And not only that, I was tired all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I didn't have energy. I had chronic digestive problems and headaches. And so this something happened inside of my soul where I said, I've got to change for me. And I got in my car, and I drove down this country road, and I made a decision. Of course, I had someone look after my kids. I didn't just leave them. And I drove down this road, and I spent 30 minutes in the woods by myself. And I thought through some things, and I thought about, and I made notes. And I said, what's important to me? Why do I need to do this right now, this moment? Because I think when we're taught something or told something, we have to hear it. And if I had ignored that moment all those years ago, I don't know where I would be today. I can guarantee I wouldn't be living the life that I have right now. And so what I did, Dr. Eric, is I just sat down and I wrote, why? What's important to me? What do I want to teach my kids? What do I want my legacy to be? And then I had to look at what's not working. And then, the hardest thing for me was to look at what's not working. And it might be for you too, what's not working. I had to get really honest on a gut level with what's not working in my life. And then I had to, and this might have even been harder, is reset a vision for what I wanted. I mean, I think I had deviated so far from having energy and not having mood swings that I didn't even know what a day in the life of a healthy person looked like. And you might have lost that as well. And so I just had to sit down and go, what do I want? I wanted to feel good. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be there for my patients. I wanted to be there for my husband, certainly, and who's incredibly healthy. And I wanted to teach my children different habits. And that moment in time when I made the decision, I'm going to spend 30 minutes on myself and look at this, changed my life forever.
Yeah, and what I love about your story is there is no gimmick diet, right? There was no Weight Watchers lose 70, gain 50 or 60 or 70 back. There was just, you started making small changes in the right direction, right? And there was a kind of that epiphany moment. Everybody that I know that has made a change like that said, same thing. I went into the woods, I went to Starbucks, and here's the cool thing. When you go do that, you don't have to have a plan necessarily. You don't have to have an A, B, C, D flow chart. You just need to go get by yourself, and I guarantee you what you think about, what you put on that paper will absolutely change your future. Now, what will help is just quick action steps. So say, okay, if you got 48 hours to go spend 30 minutes on your own, they can get in the car, they can drive down the road, you can go to Starbucks, you can go to Barnes & Noble, I mean, whatever it is, you can lock yourself in the basement, whatever it is. What would you have them do exactly? What are a couple of questions that they can answer? And then, and specifically so that they can start putting this down and moving forward.
Okay. First of all, you've got to find the 30 minutes. Like before we even go anywhere, that's what you have to make a commitment to do. And then find your happy place. Like that might not be the woods, that might not be Starbucks, it might be your car. I can remember just wanting quiet when my kids were little. And I would lock myself in my closet sometimes. And so.
You know what I think, as I'm listening to this right now, I love it. What I think a lot of women are probably thinking is like, but I can't do that. I feel guilty if I do that. I don't want to spend time just on me. So much of my time is taking care of my husband or my kids or something at work. What would you say to that question? Like, I feel guilty. What would you say?
I would say absolutely mindset change, because the martyr syndrome is what's going to kill you, and it's going to destroy the health of your family in the process. Because as much as I don't want to say it, the parents, especially the mom, are always the one that teach the habits and the mindset behind health. And I know that my parents taught me to disregard my health. Work harder, work harder, work harder, work harder. And so lose the martyr. You can't afford not to do this for yourself. It's the best thing you'll ever do for your family.
So let's say I'm in the chair. I've said, okay, I'm going to lose the martyr. I'm going to lose all those can't voices coming through my head. You can't do this. You can't do this.
Yeah.
And what do you want? What questions do you want me to start answering? So I'm not reactive. I'm proactive. We've got a couple questions. What would those be?
Yep. What's important to you? Number one, what is important to you? And for me, my motivating factor at that moment was my kids. Okay. Number two is what isn't working. What isn't working for you? That might not be being overweight. It might not be, being tired. For most of you watching, that's what it is. You're tired. You're not sleeping. You're moody. You're depressed, and you're not fit.
So schedule. Your schedule might not be working for you. Your food habits might not be working for you. The choices of dinner might not be working for you. And the cool thing about this is, I know you pick one or two things, not 50, because that gets overwhelming. You get this small win, and it's amazing how the rest of the world opens up. So first of all, what's important to you? What's not working? And then what?
And then schedule, the third step is all I did, 20 minutes a day. I made a decision that I was going to spend 20 minutes a day on self-care because you can't. What happened to me is I'm at the bottom here and I'm looking up at this mountain and I'm saying, how do I get up to this mountain? How do I get up there? Well, the way you climb a mountain is you take a single step. So for all of you out there listening, you just take a single step. For me, 20 minutes a day. I said, if I'm going to do 20 minutes of self-care, what would that look like? And my secrets for that 20 minutes was at least 5 minutes a day. Sometimes it's all I could do was sit in my chair and want to chomp my fingernails off. For 5 minutes, I was going to invest in my spirituality. Right. I was just going to think about breathing, praying, meditating, thinking on positive things. That was my starting point. So 20 minutes a day. The other one was scheduling in my exercise. I did 4 to 5 times a week. That was all I could muster. And sometimes it was only 10 minutes, but it was a starting point. And then the third thing for me was with 20 minutes a day of self-care. That was revolutionary for me. And some of you may know that 20 minutes right now isn't enough for you because the journey changes. The other thing I did is made a decision. This is huge, is I made a decision to put superfoods in my diet every day. I didn't look at cutting back because I had tried every fad diet out there, you guys, and lost and gained and lost and gained and lost, because I'd struggled with my weight since I was a kid. And so I said, well, I'm just going to start putting some superfood in my diet. For me, that was a green smoothie every day. Just Absolutely. One step that changed my life.
Fantastic.
And then I looked at where my relationships at, it's silly, but it's just those foundational few steps that made my difference.
So very first thing, think about what's important to you. Think about what's not working for you, and then commit to the 20 minutes. And the neat thing about the 20 minutes is if you just do that, you just sit your butt in the chair, it's not up to you what happens. I guarantee things will align so you start really making progress in the right direction, taking care of yourself. So I really appreciate you being on here because I respect you so much because I've seen a lot of people yo-yo diet and go up and down and do these fad diets, but you've really, instead of lost weight, you've gained health. You've created health for your family, which is going to be a legacy thing that you leave with your kids. So your first step is just this simple. You got 48 hours to go find your happy place, whether it's in the car, at Starbucks, Barnes & Noble, lock yourself in the basement or the closet like Dr. Kristen did. But you got to do that in the next 48 hours. So go do it. So what are you still waiting for? Why are you still here? Go. Go now. Go.
And you're worth it.
Go. You can do it.
You're worth it. We love you and you're worth it.